everyone. So for today's card I'm going to use the Fawn Gingham backdrops stamps. I'm actually going to use both of the two. There's two different sizes in there. So there's one that there's a bigger area but it's a smaller check, and then the other one is a smaller stamp but a bigger check, if that makes sense. So you'll see what I mean when we stamp this. And I'm stamping using some Memento Tuxedo Black ink. I'm sure that's the one I used. And you'll see here it did not work. So I went back because I went back and forth on whether I was going to use a stamp positioning tool, and I definitely needed to. So I've now just turned that piece of cardstock over. There's nothing wrong. You've got two chances when you're stamping things like this. And I'm just going to cover the whole of the front. This is a piece of real red cardstock from Stampin' Up, but you can use any red cardstock, and I love the way this turned out. I'm actually going to make two cards today, so this is the first of the two, and looks so much better. And I'm just going to clean off the stamp and then realign it, and it's pretty easy to line up with what you've already stamped. So just lining it up again in the tool, and then I'm going to pick it up with the lid and then re-stamp it and ink it and then stamp it. And I love it. I love how and yes, I have my pajamas on. It's Christmas crafting. You've got to have your check PJs on. They're my Christmas PJs. I can't help it. Anyway, so and yes, I have started wearing them already. So that's the first of the backgrounds that I'm going to do. I'm going to do each one at a time, so I'll do each card separately. Then I've got a piece of Whisper White cardstock here, but any white cardstock will do. And I've taken some sentiments from the Fawn Winter Village stamp set, and I'm just going to line them up with some VersaFine Onyx Black ink. And I've taken one main sentiment and then like a follow-on, if that makes sense. So holiday greetings from our home to yours, and then the other one will have a slightly different sentiment. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim that down when it dries. VersaFine ink tends to need some drying time, so you could hit it with a heat tool or something like that, but honestly by the time I'd done this bit it was dry, so it was fine. But yeah, watch your fingers in it, because I have smudged it so many times and ruined projects because of it. So yeah, just be aware of that. It does take a lot longer to dry, although weirdly enough you're supposed to be able to use your embossing powders with it, and I have no luck with that. I've seen loads of people doing it and I have no luck, yet when I need it to dry quickly it does not. So anyway, so I've now taken some silver ribbon. This happens to be a Stampin' Up one. I don't own a lot of ribbon to be fair. I have just a few bits here and there, and so I've taken a piece of ribbon. It's like a silver, it's like silvery flecked. It's not solid silver, if that makes sense. And just taping it down in two places. I was going to do something different, and then I suddenly came up with this idea and I actually liked it much better. So basically I'm now making my front of my card look like a present, and I just thought that was the coolest thing. So anyway, that's just my little thing. 10,000 tons of tape on the back because I'm me. And the red piece cardstock is actually I'm sure I cut it down 1/4 inch again, so it is, I want to say 5 by 3 3/4 instead of the normal 4 by 5 1/4 for a first layer. So that's how I've sort of cut it down, so there was more of a white border around the edge, and that sort of makes the greeting, it makes that sort of tie in a bit better, and it just looked kind of neat. Sorry I was out of camera here, but I'm just trimming down the sentiment again, just so that I kind of had this vision that it would look a bit like a little tag on a present. If that makes sense. So yeah, so I'm just going to get all this tape off now. And you can see my boo-boo on the back. No one's going to see it. Well, you're seeing it, but you know what I mean. Like, nobody else is going to see that. So don't worry if you try and stamp something and it doesn't stamp clearly, and you need to do it again, turn your piece of paper over. You know, if it's a plain colour cardstock, there's always another side to it, so you can always just use the other side of it. Those little blingy dots on the right hand side, I actually didn't use them in the end. I had the silver ones out for this card, and then we're going to do gold on the next one, and I didn't use them. I just felt that the cards didn't need them. So these are very simple cards. Anybody can do this, but it just makes such a cool looking card. It's very simple. It's very modern, I suppose. It's a more modern card than what I would call a modern Christmas card compared to some of the things that I would do. And there's no vintage photo on it. Shocking. But I'd say it's probably a more modern looking Christmas card than a lot of them that are out there. But it's still very easy to do, and it's I think it looks very elegant. It's very simple, and it's, I don't know, I really liked it. I liked them both in the end. Wasn't totally sure what I was doing to start with, but I got an idea from someone online, and I suddenly went, oh, know what I'm going to do. So when inspiration hits you, that's what you got to do. You got to do something with it. So tying a little bow, or a knot bow thing, and that creates the little present. I will show the cards at the end as well, so if you watch to the end, I'll show you a more close-up view of them, so that you can see them a little bit better, not in quick time as well. So this is the other stamp, and it is it's a bigger check, but there's a smaller stamp, if that makes sense. This wasn't too bad to line up, but it was a little bit tricky. I don't know if it's because, and you can see it's a bit wonky there. I don't know if it's because it was a smaller stamp. I don't know why I struggled with it. But I just thought this would also be the easiest way to do it, because having to reposition it every time I needed to do it in a stamping tool, it's not impossible, but I just thought this would be quicker to do. And also being a smaller stamp, it meant that I had more control over where the pressure was going, so that I could actually get a better impression. Whereas on the first one, I totally missed the middle bit, even though I'd pressed down. So there's definitely more control on this one. The corners, and because I'm going at a different angle, again, it just changes up how you're doing it. So yes, you can go straight up and down, and it would just be a bigger version of the pattern, will be a bigger version than the other one, or smaller, I can't remember now. But it will, is it a bigger one? Yeah, it's a bigger one, isn't it? I'm just looking at the cards. But changing it, the angle that you stamp it, will then change the whole look again. So again, it's like in the previous video, it's using what you already have and trying to find another way to use it that isn't the sort of conventional way of using it, if that makes any sense. The mat that I'm using, by the way, is the Waffle Flower Media Mat, watercolor Media Mat, I think it's called. And it was the first time I was using it as well, so I was trying to go by instructions, and now I can see the air bubbles I had, and it's actually sat on top of my Tim Holtz glass mat. So yeah, my camera does funny things with it because it can't focus on just the white. So this is, again, same greeting for this first bit, and then I have a slightly different set of wording, again out of the same stamp set. So it was the Lawn Fawn's Winter Village stamp set. So this one just says holiday greetings with love from all of us, rather than whatever the other one said. So you'll have to forgive me, I am very tired. And so on this one I have the exact same ribbon, but it's in a gold rather than a silver. So again, instead of Stampin' Up! This I got, I think it was actually a celebration item, and the two came in a pack, you know, when you spent over whatever it was. So I've had them for a few years because I haven't bought a lot of Stampin' Up! Recently. So in fact, I don't know when the last time it was that I bought. Excuse me. So again, on this one, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and then I thought, actually, you'll see in a minute, I will change my mind, because I'm allowed to. So I suddenly thought, actually, I want to make it look like a prezi as well. So I just crossed the ribbon over itself and then restuck it down. Now, obviously, if I thought ahead of time, I wouldn't have had to finagle the way I have had to for this, but it worked and it looks really good. And again, you could tie a ribbon in the middle. I didn't in the end, and you'll see why. I didn't in the end do that, and the camera died there. That's why it's cut out the way it did. But I just left it with just like the cross. So when you are wrapping presents this year, there's a couple of ideas for you as to how to actually put some ribbon around. It doesn't have to be ribbon. I've used twine. I've used like string. I've done that before, and it just adds something to it. It's really, I just think it's lovely. So again, I wanted this to look kind of like a tag on a present. So because of where I was going to put the tag or this greeting, I couldn't really put the bow on there like I did on the other one, so that's why I've left it off. But you could easily, if I'd put the greeting somewhere else, then I could have easily tied a bow where the two pieces cross in the middle, and that would have been nice as well. So I put the foam tape on one side and none on the other side, but actually there's enough overhang that I can get a teeny tiny little thing, which took me forever to get this to work without bending things and all that. Just a teeny tiny little double-sided piece of foam on that side. You don't want it over where in the same place where the ribbon is, because it will make that more bulky and then it won't lie flat. So that's why I've done what I've done. So here I'm trying to see whether I can use these blingy things, and I just didn't like it, so I left them like that. So there's two very simple cards, other than me waffling, and it won't take you as long when you do it all by yourself, but very simple. I cut the same size piece of cardstock. I just used 2 different colors on each. Super easy and quite a modern twist on a holiday card. So I hope you've liked this, and I hope you come back to see some more. If you want to see more from me, I hope you subscribe and like the videos, and don't forget to hit the notification bell if you want to see more. That will notify you that you want of the new videos. I know what I'm trying to say. I can't talk anymore. Right. See you later, guys. Bye.